Doing a short on removing a skin from, this is a Model A deck lid, but a couple of different ways to do it. I was gonna try to save it, like all the flanges and everything for somebody. So I started by prying. It works, but very time consuming, and I'm not gonna use this. So I've got a nice louvered one sitting in there. So I'm just gonna grind the edges off. And then if somebody wants to take it, they can weld it on the sides of their inner, and it'll be fine. So how much do you grind? All right, so you can see I've started to grind here. There's not much to see. Okay. Grind until you start seeing the separation line. So this video is kind of a continuation of what was going on when I sliced the skin off this Model A deck lid over here. And just to show you, so what you end up with if you slice it off correctly is the skin stays pretty straight and intact. It can be reused. So you get that and a couple of long slivers of metal that were folded over the inside over there. So the next thing is, if you want to see what's going on down underneath, yeah, bunch of louvers, right? So getting the new skins on. Some people just weld them on. They would trim them right along the inner flange edge right there, and they would just weld them. If you want to do it like the factory did it, or what I consider probably just a nicer look, you fold the edges. And it takes a little time. This is what it looks like part way through. This is another, part way. And these are not done yet. So when you get the skin, if it's a nice skin and it's fit well, what you're going to find is that there's going to be some extra metal on the edge up here, this being the inner skin, and you're going to need to fold that over the top. And then, if it's a door skin, it's pretty easy because door skins wouldn't have all this structure down here in the way, and you could support it with a dolly, like down underneath there, and you could go along there and start bending the edge over. And speaking of bending the edge over, so to speak, a couple of different things you can use. You can either just use a hammer and dolly. These kind of duckbill pliers, which come off of Amazon, they're 25 bucks or so, 26. You can you can grab the top, like this. So if you can see that, the edge is right on the edge of the inner skin. And then just bend slightly. So, you just want to give it a little shape to it there, and then go along the entire seam, kind of doing that. Okay, and once you start getting it bent over the top pretty well, you can see that's just a little out of shape there, right? It's just not straight anymore. It's got a little lip to it. And there's going to be some waves in here. Take it slow, bend a little bit at a time. And then eventually you can start clamping the inner and outer skins together so that you'll have support on the back side of the flange. And then you start, just use your hammer and gently, start bending that thing over the top. And eventually you get it to where, it looks kind of like this one, where it's got a slight crease. And then every once in a while, I take the glass pliers there, or whatever those are called, duck bills, and move them down some, and then follow behind it with the hammer. So, as it sits now, it's pretty bent there. So I'll take the pliers off, move it down just a bit. All right, And we'll start working with our hammer on the edge here. Okay. You can see it's not, it's not going to be perfectly smooth right there right now. Because after you get the entire lip completely bent over where it's a U shape with the inner structure kind of in the crook of my finger there, so it'd be over like this, then you're going to go along here with either a reinforcement of some kind. You can use a door skin hammer and support it on the back side, like that. Or if you have a thin enough dolly or a T-bar, you can put anything on the back side of here and then make sure that your outer edge is nice and straight. And you can work the inner seam there until it gets to be pretty nice looking. And then a little bit of sanding, maybe a little bit of filing, and you can body work it and it looks real nice. I'll show you that as we go along. All right, showing you progress along this back seam. You can see that's starting to get folded over pretty good. Okay, still working the one down the side. And then I'm gonna start working this seam a little bit more in earnest here shortly, because I wanna make sure that's on there really well. And then what is actually the bottom, that's the trunk lock right there. So what's actually the bottom seam, I'm gonna work that one last. Do I know if that's right or wrong? No, that's just the way I'm doing it. So stay tuned, I guess. All right, you can see things are moving along. Everything's folded down around the top, down the sides. Pretty happy with that. Gonna work on some fitment issues down there right at the bottom to make sure I get a good fold on there. Probably be best to start up the top when you're working your fold. Other things, these corners, you can tell that is not going to work. So it's going to require a trim at an angle on this piece in like this. And then once you get that one bent down, you fold this one over first. And then when you bend this one down, it's going to require a trim also on that one. All right. Once you get to the point that it's 90 degrees or more over, so you have folded this over at a 90 degree, kind of like that. All right, what you can do is take a dolly, nice flat on the outside, put it on the outside of there, and then as you're holding that with your other hand, you start striking down toward the metal and get that bent and actually fold it in. And you can see where that is folded over on the inside, which is what we're looking for. When you get it pretty well folded down there, you can use this same set of pliers and just put this down on the edge such as this, and pinch that down where it makes a nice good seal on the edge. Okay, so that's how that's going to get done. It's a good workout. Get you some sweat going. Make sure as you're going along, make sure that your inner skin and your outer skin are mated well before you do too much folding. That way you won't have to go back and kind of redo some stuff. So careful on that. Cool. This is a little bit better seam to show the folding over process. You can tell this is more down toward the edge of the flange there, and then once you get to right here, you can tell that's still up. So I'm going along with the dolly on the outside of here. So just looking like that. All right, and then I'd start striking right where that little bump is right there. So right there, so you strike that down, And you're just moving all the way down the side of the flange there, you know, until you get it all folded down to at least this much, and then come back and fold it completely over. Right. Here we go. All right, so this would be DMG approved. Dean's Basic Garage, right? So it's folded, pretty smooth on the outside. I'll do some more work on that along the way. Take a little bit of work with a little sand and disc. Maybe some skim coat in a couple places, but really nothing to speak of, which is what I'm looking for. You know, I'm not the factory. I'm not Brooksville, sorry. But you can do a pretty good replication of that. Folding it under. You can see that starting to work these edges down on the sides pretty good. There's trimmed. You know, you could throw a little bead of weld in there if you wanted to. If it made you feel good. All right, so working those. This has all got weld through primer on it, or some kind of primer I just put on there to make sure it wouldn't flash rust. And then making sure the back is kind of sealed down pretty well, so I don't get any weird contours. All right, yep, happy. All right, we're down to the finished product here, or pretty close. I mean, you know, what I'm saying is all the flanges are folded over. See, that's what it looks like. The most difficult flange ended up being the one down here on the bottom. It worked out. I'm not disappointed in it by any means. It was just, it's very hard to get to because of the angle. And that was what I was saying about a door skin. You know, if you're doing a door skin, the door skin or the flange just hangs out like this. And then you put your door skin on top of it, and you're gonna fold it over the side. So you can just hold a dolly, you know, like this, up underneath the door skin, you know, up on the edge of it, and start folding the thing. Whereas this is, it's just a little bit, it's a higher degree of difficulty to say the least. Okay, so we got that done. I am not unhappy. I want to put it on, and I'll show you why I want to do this. It looks so much better. All right, stand by. All right, there's the money shot. It's not mounted yet. So the little mounts that go on the top at the side, each side and the top, I should say, are not in. But really, really pleased. And I believe the name of the guy I got this thing from is Twisted Road Customs. And I really can't say enough. I mean, it's a really good quality piece of material. The louvers look really great. And I just think it adds a lot to the car. Or will in the future when she's all done. But, you know, nothing says hot rod like louvers. So that's that for this one. I'll put some notes in the notes, and maybe some links to some stuff that I used. What else? Maybe some explanations. This thing right here, man, I used to look at those at the body shops and looked at a couple of places, and they're hundreds of dollars a piece. I'm definitely putting a link to this. This is from Harbor Freight, and it's like, I don't know, either $19 or $29. It was less than 50 bucks, and really nice and sturdy. Does a pretty good job holding all your stuff. You can tighten it if you don't like it, you know. It's pretty good. So I'll link you to that. All right, that's it for this time. See ya.